to round number 3. Oh, it's here. Send out that signal. Let AK know. It's happening. Affinity's back. TJ rocking the Affinity train. It's going to be playing against the red-green Valkut. I'm pretty sure it's just red-green. It's been a while since I've seen Dylan playing, so I'm not sure if he is on anything super spicy or if he's just straight up red-green. Here's my Titan shift, right? Jace ult is brutal. You're right, One Violence. That makes me want to play Jace, to be completely honest. I like seeing that. I was like, man, I really wish I had some Jace to play. I don't want to spend the money on Jace, but if I just had them, or somebody let me borrow them, I would love that. I have only one, and I cannot pronounce your name, Malakayas. See, that's why I don't try to pronounce people's names. But I can't buy other. Yeah, that's like. What's nice is that there's a lot of people at the shop that want to be willing to trade stuff or borrow things. The reason that Eric, our player that was playing Merfolk, has that deck is because he opened a Jace and basically was like, hey, I'll give you this Jace for your Merfolk deck. And the person's like, well, I was going to get rid of this anyway, and I was going to buy Jace. This, yeah, sure, I'll do that. Let's do that. Like, you know, basically traded off some Jaces for that. I think he traded 2 Jaces for the whole thing or something like that. So, but it's just username. I feel ya. It's super. Yeah, it is expensive. Like, so that's the thing. Is like love collecting modern cards because I like to be able to play as many modern decks as possible. And I'm happy that I picked up Lilies, you know, back when they were sitting around like $80 a couple years ago. And now they're like $115 or something like that. But Jace is like, I wish, even then when it was like seeing play in Legacy and stuff like that, but not in any other format, right? Still $70. I was like, I'm never going to play that in Legacy. I have Infect for Legacy. You know, I'm close to having stuff to play Merfolk in Legacy. I don't really want to play Jace. That's not really how I want to play Legacy. And then they're like, oh, we're going to reprint it. Oh, it's unbanned. So $70, you know, has hovered from $150, $130. I think right now it's $130, give or take. So it's expensive, guys. I liked playing blue-white control. I was a fan of it. I already accomplished my dream of having 4 Snapcasters. That's great. Plus the caverns. So I have 3 caverns. I don't have the 4th cavern, but I'm in no rush to pick up the 4th cavern right now. How much is caverns, right? That's another one. Cavern of Souls. So the Avacyn version of Cavern, about $90. How much is the other one? Masters Edition is about 87. Yeah, they're both around $90. Wow, they're both even with the art? That's weird. That doesn't usually happen. Should I pick up Stoneforge Mystics and Batter Skulls in case Mystic gets unbanned? I personally, I have the promo from the GP, so I never picked any more up. I have a couple copies of Batterskull. I mean, what is the promo version of Stoneforge actually? Let's see. GP promo is $20. Regular Stoneforge, from World Wake is about $20. Hey, it's like $20. I mean, I don't see the problem with picking up like a 1 of or 2 of if you get the chance. Plus, I like playing cubes, so I use my Stoneforge Mystics in cubes right now. Wow, boom, 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 and he says, okay, I'm coming at you, 1 point of damage. We're gonna be tied up 19 all. Okay, like $16, perfect. Yeah, like I don't know. I don't know how many if you would play a specific deck with it. You know, it's a good one. Batterskull in turn 2 is scary, right? Or turn 3, I mean, would be really scary for modern. So. Oh, did he trade the entire deck with Caverns for Jaces? I don't think the Caverns were included with it because I think he had Caverns already and just was like, hey, here's all of the creatures and stuff like that sort of thing. I think he traded some of the fetches, though. But I don't know which ones. Oh, Edge Champion's nice. Oh, you're hoping they ban Jace back. Don't think that we'll see Stoneforge go. Alright, so he's saying, hey, I'm going to come across and deal 2 damage to you. 1 damage to you because he does not get the Battlecry trigger here. But basically switching life totals. Dylan going to go to 18, TJ going to go to 20. And now, so seeing the land bases, seeing the creature, right? Skura Tribe Scout coming out, or Elder, I can never remember. The Snake Man here getting a land that you're basically going, okay, I'm playing against some Valkut thing. Based on what it's looking at, it's looking more just straight up red-green, but we'll see. Dylan's going to be fetching down to 17, get this basic forest here. And yeah, so basic from this, it is red-green. There hasn't been any islands getting fetched up. There's no breeding pools. There's no other lands to kind of show you that it would be anything other than just red-green. Now, X-Champion's pretty scary, but if you can get him off Metalcraft, it's less of a problem. So we'll see. 2 mana. That looks kind of like Molten Rain. Oh, he did pay 3 mana. Oh, man. He just completely wiped his board. Okay. Those are snow-covered mountains. Arcbound Ravager's nice, and he says, I will also lose 2 life, go back down to 18 to play this Vault Scourge. He says, this is gone, by the way. There's the Valakut. Molten Pinnacle. A land that sounds like it should be legendary, but it's not. Oh. Equip to this. I would like to gain a bunch of life, he says. Yeah, I don't know what that board wipe was either. I'm assuming just dealing 2 damage to a bunch of stuff. Alright, so let's count the artifacts. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. He's going to deal 5 damage to him. Putting TJ at 23, assuming it goes through. Looks like he's got a bolt he's debating about here. Okay. Yeah, so he says bolt coming down. Ah, okay. Deal 3 damage to each creature. Cool. And he says, I'll sack it in response. So Dylan's going to be hoping for escape shift here so he can start to deal some damage, wipe some boards, do some shenanigans, right? And no, pass. But he does have, let's see, 1, 2, there's 3 mountains on board here. He needs 2 more to get that live. There's 2 ink moths. Wow, he's got 3 ink moths. So he says, activate Ink Moth, equip, move to combat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So coming at him for 4, 5, 6 regular damage, and 1 poison. Puts him to 11. He's going to fetch down to 10, and let me get that poison counter up. And that goes over here, and that goes over here. That goes to 1. It just means that Zendikar has multiple mountains called Valkut. I love that idea. That, like, that's just what they call mountains on Zendikar. Oh, yep, there's the Molten Pinnacle. Valkut right there. Oh, yep, and over here's Valkut, the Molten Pinnacle. No big deal. Oh, and if you drive about 5 minutes up the road, there's another Valkut, Molten Pinnacle. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4 mountains, and he says, tap all this mana! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Scape shift. I would like to float these 3 red. And TJ's already getting to sideboard at this point. Like, he's just like, you can see he's ready to go. He knows, hey, you can go through the motions and do what you're going to do. I'm just getting ready because I know what you're playing, right? You had the scape shift. You got the mana you needed. So, yeah. And look, he says, okay, here's my mountains. Okay. Bam, bam, bam. So, let's go to game number 2, he says. Pretty nice start. Those board wipes helping out. That Slag Storm, interesting. So used to seeing, like, people play Anger of the Gods and things like that. Like, but that extra point of damage does matter. So I like that addition for Dylan and his list. He is running those snow-covered mountains. He was on Scred Red at one point or another, I believe. So, you know, just having those lying around says, you know what? Any deck that I'm going to run mountains in, I'm just going to run snow-covered. Yeah, and TJ's kind of going through saying, well, this not going to help me. This won't help me either. I don't need these. Dylan's going to try to find kind of more board wipes, more targeted stuff that he can be able to bring in, Ancient Grudges, things like that he might be able to use to start picking apart TJ's battlefield here. Solo casting can be so tough when you don't have that other person to sit there and talk for a minute while you sit there and drink water. So what decks are you guys currently playing in Modern? I've been practicing a lot more with Grixis Death Shadow. I'm liking the deck. It's pretty fun. Picked it up maybe 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks now. I think I've been playing it. About a month. It's a very difficult deck to pilot. But like I said, I have a plethora of Modern cards and keep changing what deck I play. Opt, Serum, or Bobble. Tried Opt to start with. Like Serum a lot better. Was going to try Bobble. I think, but I just... since I'm not on Delirium, I don't care as much about Bobble. And that's, of course, answering Downboat's question there about for Opt, Serum, or Bobble. And I'm on Black, Green, Rock and Black, White, Planeswalkers. That sounds like a fun one. That Shadow is so much fun. Helps you improve. I've noticed that, too. It's like it's a very difficult deck, but, like, you get better the more you play. And just, like... I can feel myself, like, moving up in my play skill, and I'm just worried that I'm going to hit that plateau and just kind of stalemate out for a bit. But it's nice to be going about that plateau, or going towards that plateau right now. Like, I feel my skills increasing. And Jace is OP. Oh, John Bones is saying that Bobble is more of a higher chance of a turn 2 angler with the second land up. I didn't even think about that. That's true. I might have to test it out and see if I can squeeze it into my list. Because angler is a big deal in the Grixis style. So Sinister, of course, is saying he's on Traverse Shadow, the Green X Tron, and about to be Jund, as long as his confidants didn't get lost in the mail. Ooh, I hope not. Jund is always a fun one. Jund him in the face. And again, if I was able to pick up Jace's, I would probably play some blue-white control for a little bit. Sinister making a really good point here, too. He says, if you plateau, you can always switch decks and look at lines from a different perspective. It's the beauty of Modern. And that is true. That's what is nice about Modern, is that you can always switch it up. Oh, we forgot to play the game, guys. What's always a fun thing to do when we're watching Affinity play is guess how many cards they drop down on turn 1. Is it? Nice. Is it is always a good choice. Now, we've tried the blue-red for a little bit. We tried like Blue Moon. We've done Jeskai control for a bit. We've done a lot of different things. Oh. Arcbound Ravager's nice. He says, I'm going to bolt that in response to the cast, so you do not get an extra counter on that, which is really smart. Again, sequencing is very important, guys. Oh, Kiki Moon, sweet. Yeah, we tried that for a little bit too, since I built up Kiki Chord for a while, because I like playing chord decks because of the toolbox aspect of it, and I like those a lot more than I like playing the counter company. Merfolk Mistbinder, yum yum. Alright, so let's see damage here. I played this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points of damage coming across here. Nope, Ancient Grudge. Just kidding, he says. Let's throw that on here. So 2 points of damage gonna come across, dropping him to 17. And the anger to follow it up. He says, okay, sack this to this, sack this to this. He'll live, everything else dies. Nothing gets exiled. Now he's a 4/4. Alright, Master of Ethereum gonna come out. So not able to attack, but helping out. Right? Gonna increase the power on the board. Right as Down Boats is saying, he should focus on getting another creature on the board. It's like he's reading his mind. And that's the thing about Affinity. It's kind of is this nice flexibility where you can go this go wide strategy and then switch it up and go pierce and focus only on one creature. So it's cool to see that. You know, he's got to be careful and very mindful of Summoner's Pact. He has to be careful of Ancient Grudge sitting in that graveyard there. Ooh, nice pickup. Reclamation Sage going to come out. He says, I would like to target this. I would like to sack it to this, he says. Making my Arcbound even bigger. Ink Moth. That's a pretty good one. Can hope to try to poison him to death. Come at you for 5. He says, yeah, I'll block that. No problem. And he says, hey, here's my pact pay. Don't have to worry. Ooh, misses a land drop. Okay. Can he kill him here? Maybe he can. Activate. Alright. Floats a mana with Arcbound. Nope, he's just going to push damage. Alright, coming at you, he says. 5 and 1. Puts Dylan to 12. Puts him at 1 poison. Farseek says, I'd like to find a land, please. A non-forest land. It's really how it reads, but you can, of course, find Stomping Ground because you're finding the mountain part of it. It's a mountain forest. Remember people doing that in Standard back in the RTR block. It was pretty gross. One, two, three, four. He's at 4 mountains. Well, he can flash back Ancient Grudge here. Oh, Dark Steel. More artifacts to be able to get him with. Let's activate this guy. This is kind of getting scary. You have to be careful of that Ancient Grudge, because if he goes like super ham and commits everything to the Ink Moth will just get targeted and die. So he says, alright, coming at you like so. 1 infect, 1 poison off of this, putting you to 2, and then 5 more. Puts him to 7. And Dylan says, okay, I'm going to go to 6. Yeah, 7 lands with Scapeshift is enough with TJ at 18. Does he have it? Yeah, look at him. Hey, here's my shrug. I've got it. What? Denied! Stubborn denial. Says, I'm going to flash this back. Response. Go like so. Activate this. So float or use it with the I think he's tapping it maybe with drum. Or is he activating both of these? Oh, this is scary. He had to have lost a life off Stubborn Denial. So he's at 17. It is cool to see TJ back on Affinity, isn't it? What a game, guys. That's Stubborn Denial coming out of nowhere. Like, I don't think anyone was ready for that. So that was nice. That was a great play there. Really shows the power of TJ understanding the lines of Affinity. Right? To really not overcommit and really position himself to have the mana available to Stubborn Denial and get that. So now it's tied up 1-1. But now Dylan knows that Stubborn Denial is in the list. Right? He knows he has to be very careful about letting a creature get up to that, 4-5 power like that. Stubborn Denial always shows up when you least expect it. Yeah, the amount of artifact hate that's been running around has decreased a lot more at our shop. TJ is one of the other Grixis Death Shadow players. Played that pretty much exclusively for, I want to say, 5 months maybe. But he's our resident Affinity player. So seeing him back on Affinity is nice because his knowledge of the deck is crazy. It's like if I went back to Infect, because Infect has always been my kind of go-to deck for playing Magic. And, if I went back to it, I have those knowledge, like muscle memory of particular matchups and particular lines of play that just like you get put in positions and it just goes, okay, I know, like I remember how to navigate these lines. Yes, down boats. OG Infect players unite. So this is definitely going to be a stressful one for both players here, right? Dylan is going to be on the play this time. Oh, top 16 to GP with my elves. Nice. I have... that was actually a deck that I'm thinking about making Brett play tomorrow. I have it built up, minus the lands, because they're in other decks, and I just haven't gotten around to playing it. But I like having access to any Cord or collected company based deck. I like having tribal decks. I just like collecting modern decks. Bright New Era says, I remember playing against TJ with Affinity when I first started playing Magic. He always seems to know that the right play even when it doesn't seem super intuitive. That's true. Is like once you start playing a deck for longer periods of time, you learn those ins and outs and you get to see those different lines that a lot of players are going to miss. And it's cool when you do get to play against a player like that sees those lines that you might miss. And what's nice is that we have access to something like the stream, so other players get to see those lines that he's making and see that kind of look back and go, oh, okay, I see where you're at now. I see what you're doing. I understand why you're making these plays. So that's what's really nice that we have access to at our shop. Oh my gosh. Did I see like 2 Anger of the Gods? Well, he's got a Lightning Bolt and an Ancient Grudge at least. So maybe that's what it was. A Valkut. I don't know, he's got a lot of hate. TJ having to mulligan down though. and that's another nice thing. So Sinister Minister is saying he's intimidating to play against because he's very skilled with Affinity and he has a lot of experience. It helped me learn a lot. And that's what's nice too, is that the players, the really good players at the shop, you know, you want them to be intimidating because you want them to be better than you so you can get better, right? That's what's nice, is that, you know, you want the best players at the shop to be really good at the game. You want them to be that kind of, wow, they are really good. They're not making those simple mistakes that, you know, you see a lot of other players do. Their lines are tight. They're really going through the motions really well. Oh my gosh. We keep forgetting, guys. How many cards is TJ going to drop on turn 1? This time, dropping down 5. Suspending Search for Tomorrow. Bolt. Oh, yeah, get rid of that Steel Overseer, he says. We are not going to play that go wide strategy. Wow! 2 cranial platings here. So he says, here is a cranial plating. You're tapped out, so I know that I can get out of cranial plating. The problem is, I'd have to tap it to connect it to this. And he says, yeah, let's do it and hope that you don't kill this. You cannot let that Steel Overseer... I mean, really, that once you see Steel Overseer hit the field, it's like, hey, I'm going to draw removal spells towards me and let other things stay alive. And he says, okay, I'm pushing for damage. TJ's going to say, well, guess I'll have to lose that. And wow, Bolt, Ancient Grudge, gets rid of at least one of them, gets rid of the creature, and now TJ's sitting. He does have some artifacts available, but this is not the position that he's hoping to be in. And looks like Search for Tomorrow will go off here. Yeah, that's the thing about having an active scene of Legacy, is there are specific people that have Legacy decks. Like, for example, Jeremy, our Season 1 champion, has like a couple of stuff to play in Legacy, but he's our land player, right? You know, Lyle does have a couple of variants of stuff. You know, he does have Delver and things along that line. TJ has his couple of variants on the stuff that he likes to play. You know, I have Infect, but our scene, it's very hard to get people to come out and play on other days. You know, it's easier for people to go, nope, let's just, he says, no, I'm actually going to kill your Mox and shut you off mana some more. It's hard. Like, what's nice is Modern, the stream helps draw players out, and it's easier to get into Modern because of the price point. Legacy is a very intimidating format to dive into. Bright New Era. I play High Tide because I hate myself and also my opponent. Mallow, what are you playing in Legacy? Just out of curiosity here. Wow, look at all this mana that TJ can make. And he says, hey, I would like to get a Primeval Titan, please. That's, yeah. Trigger. I'd like to find 2 lands. The game is done for. Boom, boom. Hey, Steel Overseer, he says. It's always nice when you go to a GP and you're able to pick up specific cards cheaper. Alright, so he says, this is paying for Pact. This will just be here to deal some damage to you. Combat. Trigger. I'd like to get 2 lands, please. So he says, I've got 5 mountains. So here's a second Valkut. And here's a mountain. Double trigger. We'll do 3 there, 3 to you. You'll take 6. Puts you to 11. I bet you he probably just has escape shift in his hand or something. No, he's got an anger. Okay. TJ seems upset whenever he loses. Yeah, I think it can be tough when stuff happens like this, where you have to mulligan down and you're sitting on all of your mana rocks but no creatures really. That's a good way to read it, is it's easy to get upset with Affinity. And Yavinx, thank you for the follow. I butcher everyone's names. I'm so bad. And so yeah, Dylan was able to take that game there. Gets it 2-1 over Affinity, and like that's tough. Why is my chat not wanting to run tonight, guys? I apologize. But yes, thanks so much for tuning in, guys. If you're liking the stream, hit the follows. We do have at least one more round to go tonight. Again, this is a consistent thing we do on Mondays, hence the name Modern Magic Mondays. It's a great way to be able to see some live coverage and get some insight about particular decks, right? Get insight about the players. So it's really fun to be able to sit here and bring you guys the coverage. Most of the time I do have my co-host with me here, which of course is Farm of Zuranar. I am Nanman, or the real Nanman. Co-host is, of course, doing a lot of streaming on his own, and had his 2-year streaming anniversary over the weekend, learning a new speed run. Super busy with work, so unable to join us tonight, but that's okay. Right? We're able to have fun and be able to do some great coverage even without a co-host. You guys just have to listen to me ramble on by myself. But I do appreciate all the interaction we have in chat, because that makes things so much easier for me. So let's hop in. I don't remember who we've got in round 4, so let's find out. Okay.